The Eagle has landed. Kentucky has their new quarterback. Cutter Boley, Lexington Christian Academy star, commits to the Wildcats today at his high school auditorium. A huge crowd here at Lexington Christian Academy. We're in the auditorium. They had the whole student body in here, and Zach, the worst hidden secret, I think, in the Big Blue Nation is finally revealed. Cutter Boley is coming to UK. Liam Coen got his quarterback. Really a big deal for the program right now.
Yeah, I think it as we kind of all know here, it all came down to Liam Coen's return. I think Adam will elaborate a little bit more, but it probably wouldn't have been hard for Cutter to turn down UK regardless. But with the moment Coen came back, this was almost locked up. I was talking to Cutter's quarterback coach who actually played under Coen when Coen was an OC at Maine, so there's just a bunch of connections here. It just seems like from the first moment that Coen offered, he'd always been in love with him. Obviously, he left for the Rams, came back, and then was still in love with him even more. I guess his progression at that point had even just jumped, from the LaRue days where they were winning 5 games or whatever it was, maybe throwing the ball 20 times to slinging it 40 times there at LCA. Cutter's just a big quarterback, 6'5". I think he's about 200 pounds. Can run the ball, has a hell of an arm, can launch the ball probably 60 yards just from a standstill. So he will completely change how Kentucky goes about their recruiting class because he is also reclassed to 2024. He will enroll early in January as well. Kentucky now has 3 commits for the 24 class, all Kentucky boys actually as well. And they will try and just build some momentum here because it's kind of no secret as well that UK is a little bit behind on the 24 class, but this is definitely going to spark that momentum.
Yeah, a couple things I think we got to unpack here. Number one, the reclassification. We all kind of thought it was coming. We didn't know. So I think it's huge to get that out and just get it out of the way. Chad Simmons was the first one, I believe, to report it. He's 2024. Charles Power has re-ranked him in On3's rankings. On3 has him at 70 in our industry rankings, which kind of weighs everyone. He's a top 100 prospect. I believe he's number 78 right now. And that's fluid. That can change depending on what type of season he has. And the other thing to me was really kind of a big deal. He talked about, just being a Kentucky fan today. And that's something I think he's kind of kept hidden throughout the recruiting process. But, he talked about growing up in LaRue County, going down to the river and watching road games, getting together in a community, going to UK games on Saturdays. His dad talked about going to UK games when he grew up.
Well, to add on that, they went to basketball games. I was talking to his sister. She told a story about how an 8-year-old Cutter would sneak into the student section at Rep Arena to go watch basketball games there, and how they've got multiple family members that went to UK. It's a lot of big connection there. Obviously, his sister was a very good basketball player here in Kentucky as well. Gatorade Player of the Year, Miss Basketball. So the connections all around were just all pointed to Kentucky.
Yeah, Big Blue all the way it was sounding like, which was kind of a little bit of a surprise. And then you heard from Cutter, at one point Tennessee was out in front. And there was the Josh Heupel offense sells itself, so that's something Kentucky had to catch on to. But I think a lot of credit, and you kind of alluded to this, goes to Liam Coen. He was the number one reason I think Kentucky got him. And the talk today here at LCA was as soon as Coen was back, this recruitment was signed, sealed, delivered, over. He was coming to Kentucky. Now Kentucky wraps him up. He's in the 2024 class. It gives Kentucky a locked-in QB plan long-term, and it's the best in-state quarterback prospect I think they have gotten, I think you can argue, since Tim Couch. This is this kind of level. Cutter's still got some development to get to, but this is a big-time prospect at a premium position that they can potentially build around. Can be a cornerstone piece of your football organization. So it's really just a big deal. And then the recruiting aspect, Zach, you hit on it. It's going to be really important here. He's like the face now. He's front facing. He's in Lexington. He's going to take an OV June 9th. They've got all kinds of players coming, big weekend. But not only that, he can get there on June 16th. He can get there on June 23rd. Just a trip down the road. It's just today is a huge day. We could look back on this day and be like, this was a monumental day for the football program if a couple things work out.
Well, I guess the next biggest question is, how do you, as being the football mind, how do you see him fitting in here? Is he a day one starter? Are we thinking a redshirt year? How are we going about that?
I think it's Devin Leary's show in 2023. I think you see Kentucky go back in the portal, and I think if it works out how they want, Cutter Boley will be kind of a backup as a true freshman, and then he'll step into the starter role as his second year, and then you would have him as a multi-year starter for at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 years. I think that's really how it plays out for him. I think it's going to be adding some strength. He's got to grow into that frame. He's pretty skinny right now. I think that's going to be a big emphasis for him, and then it's just going to be adjusting to the offense. I think you want to see his interception number go down this fall. He threw 15 interceptions at Lexington Christian Academy last season. Team lost in the semifinals to Mayfield. I think that the decision-making, you want to see that improve, but on tape, you see he can stretch the field. He throws with accuracy, timing. He's got some craftiness in the pocket, move around a little bit. There's a lot to like here, and it just really gives a jolt in the arm. I mean, they really needed a shot in the arm here because things are going a little slow in 2024, but now you got some momentum.
Yeah, like we've said, the June 9th through 11th weekend, now you've got guys like Brian Robinson, Demarion Witten. I'm not going to say you're going to start getting commitments and stuff, but the ball is going to start rolling a little bit more here. I wouldn't be surprised if some dominoes do start to fall here between now and maybe the end of June as things just start to pick up. Cutter will obviously come and he'll start recruiting, probably spin his own pitch like you're saying. He can come every weekend now to Lexington and hang out. So it's just. This is a huge, huge boost for Kentucky and definitely a program-changing type player, a guy that you build around, you build an offense around, and it's exactly what Kentucky needed, and Coen is the reason that it kind of all came together here.
And Willie Rodriguez, tight end from Covington Catholic, is also going to be there June 9th. Cutter Boley's a member at MPA, National Playmakers Academy, which is kind of one of the bigger college football training centers that get kids from Tennessee, Georgia. So he's going to have connections there. Kentucky's got their guy, and he's going to be the one they build around moving forward.